They mocked her, ignored her, and laughed when her sister showed off a rich fiancé. But what they didn't know, she was the boss behind it all. Welcome to a story where silence isn't weakness, it's power. Hey there, and welcome to Sensational Stories, where every tale is packed with drama, twists, and poetic justice. If you love true underdog victories, shocking betrayals, and jaw-dropping turnarounds, you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and get ready, because this story is going to stay with you long after it ends. My name is Elena Marquez, and I've always been invisible in my own family. While other kids got praised for good grades or talents, I was the one who slipped through the cracks, quiet, reserved, focused on books and goals no one cared to ask about. My younger sister, Bianca, was the crown jewel of the Marquez family. She was beauty, charm, and drama rolled into one. My parents adored her. They boasted about her like she was royalty. And me? I was the plain one, the boring one. Still single, they'd ask every time we spoke. What they didn't know was that while Bianca chased flashy romances and shallow applause, I was building something real, brick by brick behind the scenes. But to them, success only mattered if it came with diamonds, a luxury car, or a man's last name. I stayed silent, let them think what they wanted, because I knew my day was coming. It started with a dinner invitation. Bianca insisted it was important. Family only, she said with a mysterious little smirk. I had no idea what was coming, but I agreed, hoping maybe this time I'd be seen. I arrived at our parents' home right on time. As usual, I was the first one there. And, as usual, no one seemed particularly thrilled to see me. An hour later, Bianca arrived, wearing a shimmering dress, diamond earrings, and a smile that screamed, "I win." On her arm was a tall, striking man in an expensive suit. "This," she announced dramatically, "is Liam Kingsley. My fiancé." Gasps. Applause. A chorus of fake delight. "He's an executive at some tech company," Bianca bragged. "Makes serious money." My mother nearly swooned. My father beamed. Finally, someone with real ambition. They all turned to me, grinning smugly. "Elena," Bianca said sweetly, "you might want to take notes. This is how it's done." Everyone laughed, except me, because I knew something they didn't. Liam Kingsley was my employee. Just a few months earlier, my company, Ether Technologies, had recruited top talent during a major expansion. Liam had impressed during interviews. He was intelligent, confident, ambitious. I'd approved his final hire personally. As CEO, that was my call. But in all the emails, the meetings, the corporate dinners, he never once connected my name to Bianca's. Or perhaps he just never cared. He knew me only as Ms. Marquez, the founder, his boss. At work, he treated me with respect, even admiration. But in my family's living room, his eyes slid right past me, as if I were nothing. I could have exposed everything that night, but I didn't, because karma has better timing than I ever could. Ether Technologies hosted an annual gala, black tie, elite, the kind of event people dreamed of attending. This year I decided to extend personal invitations to my family. My parents were thrilled. Bianca was ecstatic. "It'll be perfect," she gushed. "Liam and I can network." They still had no idea what kind of office job I really had. When the night arrived, they walked in like celebrities, dressed to the nines, giddy from the glitz. And then, the spotlight hit the stage. A hush fell over the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer said, "please welcome the founder and CEO of Ether Technologies, Elena Marquez." Gasps echoed across the hall. My father blinked. My mother covered her mouth. Bianca stood frozen. And Liam looked like the ground had been ripped out from beneath him. I took the stage, calm and composed. I've always believed success doesn't need noise, I said into the mic. It only needs purpose. Tonight, I'm proud to share this moment with the people who believed in me, and even those who didn't. The applause was thunderous. I stepped down, walked past Bianca and Liam. Liam tried to speak, stammered something about not knowing. Bianca couldn't look me in the eye. My parents scrambled for compliments, suddenly proud, suddenly supportive. But I didn't need it, because the truth was clear now. I never needed their approval. I just needed time. And in the silence they gave me for years, I built an empire. One they could no longer ignore. After the gala, the phone calls started. First, my mother. Elena, sweetie, we're so proud of you. You should have told us. I could hear the guilt in her voice, but also the attempt to rewrite history. As if they hadn't spent years dismissing me. Then my father. You've really made a name for yourself. Impressive stuff. Wish I knew you were up all that. Wish he knew. I wanted to ask why he never bothered to know, but I said nothing. Some silences are answers too. Bianca's message came days later. A long, rambling text filled with excuses. I didn't realize you were that Elena. Liam never told me. I'm happy for you, really. But it wasn't happiness. It was humiliation. She had built her whole identity around being the successful one. And now, the sister she'd mocked for years had turned out to be everything she pretended to be. I didn't expect to hear from Liam again, but he called me late one evening, his voice low, careful. Elena, I owe you an apology, he said. I never connected the dots. If I had known, I cut him off. You would have treated me differently. Silence. Then, softly, yes. And that's the problem. He admitted that he was embarrassed, not just by the situation, but by himself. He judged me by the way my family treated me. He didn't see my power because I didn't advertise it. But I didn't need his guilt. You're a great VP, Liam, I said. Let's keep it professional. That was the last time we spoke outside of work. With everything out in the open, I thought things might change, but my parents didn't really learn. They simply adjusted their behavior, treating me better now that they could brag about me. It wasn't love. It was pride by association. And Bianca, she tried to patch things up, invited me to lunches, complimented my clothes, even asked if I could help her start a brand. I declined. Because real relationships aren't built on status or convenience. They're built on respect. And respect, I learned, begins with how I treat myself. So I moved forward, with firmer boundaries, clearer values, and a heart that finally stopped chasing validation from people who never truly saw me. Months later, I stood at another event. This time, for a foundation I had started to support young women in tech from underserved communities. The room was filled with bright, hopeful faces, girls who reminded me of myself before the world told me I wasn't enough. As I stepped up to the podium, I looked out at the crowd and smiled. My name is Elena Marquez, I began, and I was overlooked, underestimated, and underestimated, until I stopped waiting for recognition and started building it for myself. The applause wasn't just polite, it was real. It echoed through my bones. Because this time, I wasn't just proving something, I was living it. I still visit my family sometimes. They're more polite now. Careful with their words, always slightly nervous around me as if they're still adjusting to this new version of me. But I haven't changed. I was always this person. They just never looked closely enough to see her. And that's okay, because I no longer need their eyes to feel seen. I'm the boss, the builder, the story they never expected. And I wouldn't change a single chapter of it. Moral lesson, never let others define your worth. True power comes from within, and sometimes the quietest people are the ones who have the most to offer. Stay true to yourself, build your own success, And remember, respect is earned, not demanded. This story teaches us that self-worth isn't tied to external validation, and the most powerful forms of success often come from resilience and quiet strength.